Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Namaste. We carry forward our discussion on the subject legal research methods and methodology, and today we shall discuss how the researcher will select the research topic, research design, and we will also see identification and formulation of research problem, how the research hypothesis or the research questions are framed, and how the researcher has to be review the literature and how the objectives of the studies are framed. Let's start. So, this topic covered selection of research topic, basic consideration in the selection of topic, factors affecting topic selection, how researcher will narrow down the topic, research designer legal study, component of a legal research design, and conclusion. How the researcher will select a research topic. See, this is very important part when a researcher is starting his research, because selection of an appropriate topic of research is a very important step in research, because the law of field covers a variety of law subjects, and within each subject there are several broad areas which may be of interest of the researcher. So, when researcher try to write down an article or a dissertation or a project, he is intended to include a study of some social problem or issue. So, the area open for selection of a researchable topic is even broader. Now, we see that what sources can be helpful for researcher to finalize or to select his topic. The very first is printed sources. Now, what are the printed sources? Printed sources mean there is the literature if available in the form of books or journals or encyclopedia. Now, these sources, printed sources, they may help researchers to come to know about the journal problems, issues in a specific branch of law. So, many textbook, reference book, article, journals which are of the interest of his area of interest, he can review that readings and then finalize what he want to do or what he has to be do in his research. Then the paper presented at academic gathering. This is very important. When the paper they are presented at seminar, conference and other academic gatherings, they are very important platform for the researcher to understand that how the research is going on that particular area or a subject, and how the researchers they are pursuing that research, in which field, in what area they are doing the research, so that he can find if is there any gap in that particular subject or the field where he can initiate or start his research. So, attending the seminars, conferences and interacting with the professors, scholars or those students or the professors who are already pursuing their research or doing project in that particular area which researcher intend to choose for his research topic is very helpful for the researcher to finalize his area of research. Then available data. Now, one way to discover a topic, especially where the researcher intended to use field study method, is to find available data. So, if researcher want to pursue, for example, researcher want to finalize his area of research on, for example, on the digital literacy of women in India. Now, what he is supposed to do? He will try to discover whether any earlier study has been done on the digital literacy of the women in India. Maybe he get the different articles written on the digital literacy among women in India. Maybe he get the articles which address the digital literacy among the rural women in India, or maybe he may get some statistical data available on the government website, where the data reflect that how many women in India they are digitally literate. So what does it mean? That available data on the websites, on the different platforms is also helpful for the researcher to select his area of research, or this is a very good source for the researcher to select his topic of research. Then media as a source. Sometimes media is also very helpful to contribute. Sometimes reading newspaper or magazine articles or news items, or sometimes seeing television programs, documentaries, they are also very helpful to finalize the area of research with which the researcher want to continue his research. So media is also very helpful to finalize the topic of research, but media source cannot exclusively be used as to finalize the source or to finalize the topic of research, because literature is also need to be reviewed by the researcher, because researcher has to be come with some reasonable data if it is available on the website to finalize his topic. So the thing is that media as a source can be helpful to decide the topic, but it cannot exclusively help the researcher to finalize the topic of his research. Now see this diagram, and we'll try to understand that what is the selection in a research topic. Here researcher has to identify the area of his research. So it's not like that researcher he want to pursue the research because the number of people they want to do the research in the field of artificial intelligence and the law. He should always choose the area of his interest. If you want to do research which is very close to the betterment of the woman in the rural area, with the empowerment of a woman, he should be pursue his result, because the area of interest will definitely bring a more interest and a more excitement to the researcher to come with some good finding. So first of all, the identifying the area of interest is very important to finalize the research topic. Now when the researcher identify that okay fine, I want to pursue my research in this particular area, then he has to be ensured that topic is relevant. The relevance of a topic is very important to pursue or continue the research. When this stage is complete, ensure the topic is relevant. So when he assured that okay fine, the topic is actually relevant and I should go with this for further research, then another important and a very important phase is that yes, he has to keep the topic focused. Means if we get different articles on that specific area or the specific topic, but then he should be confined on the topic which is in his mind, and this keeping the topic in focus is a further help the researcher to ensure that he has the enough sources to support his research. Now here the literature is very important, because the literature play a very important role to support the researcher research, and on the basis of that researcher can finally come to the with a very defined and a very precise topic, research topic. Now we will understand this with the help of one example. For example, researcher has a interest in the constitutional law. Now constitution in itself is a huge document, and that's why he cannot write an article on the whole constitution. So he further think that okay fine, I want to write my article on article 14 of the constitution. which talk about the right to equality. So means first he identified the area of interest. Okay, I want to pursue my research in constitutional law. In constitutional law. And from there he think that I should work on the equality, that women, they are equal to the men in this country. And then he thought that why should not I work on the empowerment of women, because women are they are the 50% of the population of this country, and that's why he final that I want to work on the empowerment of women in India in special reference to the Article 14 of the Constitution, because he want to emphasize that they are equal and hence they should equally empowered as the men in this country. Now he ensured that this is relevant, and after that he keep this in his mind that I want to pursue my research on the right to equality and empowerment of a woman in India. And then on the keeping mind in this topic, now he tried to search the matter, the material, the resources he has, and then on the basis of this he further finalized his topic. So selection of research topic is very important for any researcher to start his research. What should be taken into consideration while the researcher is trying to finalize his topic of research? One, as I already said, it should be of genuine interest to the researcher. Unless the researcher has no interest in that particular area or a subject, researcher should never ever try to write or try to pursue the research in that subject or in that area. Then this topic should involve some problem or researchable questions. Some researchable questions, which is again very important to pursue a research. Because unless there is a no research questions, unless there is a no research questions or research problem, it is really difficult to start a research. So for example, professional negligence, inadequacy, weakness or defect in certain existing laws. These are some problems or maybe some reasonable questions which researcher has to be keep in mind while he is deciding, while he is selecting his topic of research. And a topic should involve some social problem. Now this is very important. Why every time I am emphasizing more that when the researcher is, he is choosing his topic for research, he should always keep in mind that the topic should be related to some social problem. This is because law is made for the society. And if researcher want to understand that whether the law is sufficient or it is adequately helping the women to empower themselves, or is there any inadequacy in the law, so the research problem or research question should be related to some social issues, because law is operative in the society and research question should be related to, connected to the any social phenomena. And hence while the researcher is finalizing, selecting his topic, the topic should be of genuine interest, and it should be involve some social or researchable questions. Another important point to be taken into consideration is that topic should be feasible to study. And now this is very, very important again. Feasibility to research is again important. Why so? Because research involves the time, it involves the cost, it involves the efforts, it involves the skills of the individual. While researcher is pursuing or doing a research study, his time, his cost, efforts and skills, all these are involved in this practice. And if we choose a topic which is not feasible to work, it means that there is a wastage of time, skills, cost and effort. So while selecting the topic for research, one should take into consideration whether the study is feasible or not, in term of time, in term of skills, in term of expenses, etc. Then now the research should have academic or social values. See, it is always advisable to choose a topic which has a definite academic and social importance. A research should not be mere a fact finding exercise, because fact finding is not a purpose of any research. This topic should be such that a researcher can be able to explore and explain unknown, partly known facts, which we already discussed in different kind of studies, and hence whenever the researcher is choosing a topic of research, then it should have academic or social values. Now, there are certain factors which are affecting the topic selection. What are the factors? Maybe the personal values of a researcher. It affects the selection of a topic of selection, because researcher may select a topic not only because it appeared to be theoretically important, because it offers a new unexplored area of research. And that is why the personal values definitely play a very, very important role when the researcher is choosing a topic of research. Secondly, academic or social importance is also very important while researcher is choosing a topic of research. Why I am saying that academic and social importance? Because academic or social importance, because see, often the choice of a topic is determined by the importance and popularity of the research area. So, legal and social problems, they are not static in nature. As we all know that law should be dynamic, it should be progressive in nature. Reason behind, because if law remains static, the society will kick it out, and that is why law has to be update itself. And so, the researcher has to be always keep in mind the academic and social importance of the research, and that is why whenever the researcher is choosing a topic of his research, he should be keep in mind that what are the new laws and what are the laws already, and what kind of a law he want to be select for his research. Then researcher's objective and methodology. See, every research has a purpose behind it. Now, what purpose the researcher wants to achieve by the study and methodology that is intended to be used to carry out the objective is perhaps the most significant factor that determine the selection of the topic of research. So, researcher's objective and methodology also play a very, very important role while selecting the topic of research. And then practical consideration. See, practical consideration is also very important. Why so? Why I am saying so? Because in case of a library based research, it is important that enough material is available in the area of research. So, if the research is involved in the collection of the information by using such method as interviews, questionnaire, the researcher has to consider whether it is feasible to carry out successfully the research work or not. So, practical consideration is very, very important when the researcher is trying to select the topic of his research. The thing is that he has to be he has to be taken into consideration that whether it is feasible for him to continue the research or not. Next is narrow down the topic. Now, let us start this with the help of one example. For example, so we will continue the example which I already discussed, that for example, the researcher he want to pursue his research in the constitutional law of India. So, he chose the topic. Now, he chose the topic. What the topic is? So, he said that I want to do my research in the constitutional law. Now, in constitutional law, he said that I want to pursue my research on Article 21 of the Constitution. Now, Article 21 of the Constitution said, no person shall be deprived from his right to life and personal liberty. No person shall be deprived from his right to life and personal liberty. Now, researcher try to understand, he see the interpretation of this Article 21, and then he realized that this no person include the citizens as well as the non-citizens of this country. So, it means that not even the citizens but also the non-citizens of this country shall not be deprived from their right to life and personal liberty. Now, who are the non-citizens of this country? He realized that now this non-citizens, they include the refugees, it include the migrants, maybe the illegal migrants, the foreigners, etc. Now he has to be see that on whom I want to work. Should I address the issue of the refugees who took asylum in this country, or should I address the issue of the people who illegally migrate here in this country and they are staying here illegally? Should I address the issue of the foreigners who are here in this country? So he want to pursue his research, his study on the refugees' rights in India, that whether the Constitution of India is protecting the basic fundamental or the basic human rights, that is the right to life which the Article 21 is talking about. So he want to pursue his research on the what are the human rights of refugees in India, or whether the government of India is protecting the basic human rights of refugees in this country. See, from the Constitution of India to Article 21 of the Constitution, and even from the Article 21 of the Constitution, from the very first two words, no person shall be deprived from his right to life and personal liberty. This researcher choose that from this no person, he further narrow down that from no person, not the illegal migrants, not the migrant, he choose the refugees. Okay, fine, I have to be see that whether the rights of refugees are protected here in this country or not. Now, this is the way the researcher has to narrow down his topic. He has to narrow down the topic. So, a topic in journal area of the study or issue such as crime, delinquency, divorce, women rights, human rights, etc. So, these are the too broad to conducting research. So, after selecting a broad area interest, then the next crucial step is to narrow down and focus the topic into specific research question that the researcher can address in the study. As I have already discussed that with the help of one example, now we have to be see that how the researcher can narrow down the topic. I mean, what is the method of narrowing a topic into a research question? Now, let us take an example. Before the researcher, he finalized that, okay, fine, I want to pursue my research on the refugees' human right in India. So, what he did? Firstly, he examined the literature which is relating to this topic. He actually tried to see that till now, how many articles or the writings are available on the refugees' human rights in India. So, what he did? He read the article published in journals, magazine, newspapers, and on the after giving a reading to them, then he further asked people who are knowledgeable about the area of research which he choose for his research, and then he tried to seek their opinion on the topic which he finalized, and he tried to discuss what is the possible research questions that with them, and after going through the literature available, discussing that with the people who understand the background of refugees' human rights in India, then researcher should also see the nature of the topic, focus of the topic into specific historical period or some legislative time period. If researcher involve a social study, then researcher should study the specific society, group, geographical area, etc. So, this is the way that the researcher can narrowing down his topic. Now, let us understand the research design in a legal study. So, in this lecture, we are going to understand the research design in a doctrinal research. And for the non-doctrinal research, in our next lecture, we will discuss that what is the research design for the socio-legal research. So, today in this lecture, we will discuss the research design in a legal study, but this research design is in special reference to the doctrinal study, Now, see, research design is, this is a plan of the research project. What it do? It give outline. For what? For the basic steps. These basic steps researcher will follow. So, we understand that research design is a plan of the research project. Now, what is this plan? A plan is a kind of outline. What is this outline? This outline is a combination of a different steps which the researcher will follow during the research. So, this is a systematic way to continue or to pursue our research. Now, see, the research proposal in context of the academic research refer to a plan study which is submitted for the evaluation and approval. So, whenever the students or the research scholars they have to pursue their PhD research, what they did? They prepare a research proposal. And now, what is this research proposal? This research proposal is basically the outline of their research. Now, this outline of their research include the steps they have planned to follow during the research. Now, research proposal can be a project submitted to an academic body, maybe to some faculty, as I already said, for the master's or for the PhD degree, or sometime it can be submitted for getting a project. So many Indian government organizations, they are giving fund to the researchers to complete or pursue some kind of research. So, this proposal is also prepared sometime to get a fund from the funding agencies, research funding agencies within the academic institution, sometime maybe outside agencies as ICSSR, they are giving fund for the research, and the universities, the institutions, they are also providing fund for the purpose of research. So, legal and social science literature define research design as a plan of study to be carried out whatever the purpose, and the term research proposal is generally used. It indicate a research design. See, what are the components of a research design? And this part of the lecture is very, very important to understand. The component of a research design. We already know that this research design is, this is outline. Now, this outline will be according to this outline, researcher will do from specifying the topic of research to final analysis of the information. Everything he has already planned, everything he has already outlined in his proposal. But still, the one thing which we need to understand, there is no particular or a specific format of research proposal. Yes, there is no fixed and defined format. Yes, there is no fixed, there is no defined format, and there is a number of different design approaches exist, but there is a no simple and uniform classification system that can be used for framing the design. So, it means that design of a legal research, it depend upon the nature of the research the researcher want to pursue. If it is a socio-legal research, definitely the proposal will also add the tool researcher want to use during his research. If it is a socio-legal research, then definitely the research proposal will also mention about the sample size. It will certainly talk about the universe. It will certainly talk about the geographical area where the researcher try to pursue his research. It will certainly talk about the respondent or the stakeholders of the research, and hence the doctrinal research will certainly come with a different outline of the research. And that's why I said that there is no specific format of the research proposal. It may be changed with the nature of the research proposal. Now, see on your screen the components of a legal research design. As I already said that these components are of doctrinal legal research, and these points are very, very important. So, the very first thing, after discussing how to narrow down the topic, what are the criteria to select the topic, now we will finally see that now what is a component of a research design. So, a research design of a legal study, one, it includes the title of the research, and researcher has done lot of review of the literature, he come across a number of writings, he read a lot of material, he tried to understand that what particular area is not addressed in the literature which he read, and then after realizing that what is the flaws, what are the gaps there in the research, he finalized his topic of research. Moving ahead, see introduction. Now this introduction will give idea that what is the problem or the research question the researcher want to address in his research. On the basis of the introduction, I mean the nature of the problem or research questions, now researcher will make hypothesis or researchable question. Now after a few minutes we will discuss that whether the hypothesis is important for the doctrinal research or not. So third step is the researcher framed hypothesis and research questions. Yes, literature of review is very important for the framing of hypothesis and research questions. Then researcher will also tell objectives of the study, he will also point out what are the objective of this study. Then the methodology section is very important, what method the researcher will use to pursue his research. Then type of approach or study, what kind of approach or a study researcher want to do, and nature of information needed. Now this is important, what is the nature of information, what type of information is required by the researcher in this type of research, and then on the basis of this we will further see researcher will definitely mention the scope of study and then significance and contribution of that research. Now we will discuss one by one all these components. So the very first is title of research project, research paper or dissertation. As I already said that this is a very important to frame a research title of the research project. What should be the characteristics of a research title? Yes, clearly stated. It should be clearly stated. It should be self-explanatory. Now, self-explanatory means that whosoever read it can assess what the research is all about. I mean, words should be very clear. There should be no ambiguity while the title of the research is framed by the researcher, and even a layman, even a person who is not from the law background, even if he read the topic of research, he or she should also address that this research paper is about what problem or what issue. Now, how it is expressed? It should be expressed in a way that it clearly show the area of law, So as I said just few minutes back when I was talking about that how to narrow down the topic, I said that for example the researcher, he want to pursue his research on the women empowerment, and then he want to pursue this research in reference to right to equality under Article 14 of the Constitution and the empowerment of women in India. Now this should be very precisely mentioned that he is not talking about or want to discuss about the empowerment of a woman in general. His area of research is that he want to talk about that Article 14 of the Constitution is giving the right to equality to all the persons here in India, the citizens of this country, and in reference to that equality, he want to assess whether the women are equally empowered the men in this country. Now, this should be very precisely given by the researcher so that whosoever read the title of his work should understand that what the researcher want to talk about. Now, moving ahead, it should be very short and precise. I mean, a one-line statement. It should not be a longer statement. So, this would be explanatory in nature. Now, this is very important, as I said, that it should be precise, it should be clear, there should be no ambiguity, it should be explanatory in sense mean the topic itself explain the research the researcher has pursued in this project or dissertation or maybe an article. The second component of the research design in a legal study is introduction, that is the nature of the problem or research questions. Now see, why it is important? Once the title is clear, the title of the research project, maybe the thesis, maybe the dissertation, give a clear idea that okay fine, this research is about this particular article of the constitution which in reference to the empowerment of a woman in India. Now this introduction is very important. Why important? Because the introduction is giving the outline of the matter which will with which the research is concerned. Introduction, it is giving an outline of the matter with which the research is concerned. So researcher should identify the basic problem. If there is any problem, researcher should be identify that problem. He has to identify that problem. And if there is any issue, research questions which the researcher intend to study, these things should be mentioned in the introduction of any legal research. So all the academic research, they involve a series of well organized and appropriately carried out activities which make it necessary that there should be a journal statement of the nature of the problem. So introduction is actually not a literature review. The researcher has already did his review of literature. Now on the basis of that review of literature, he come across that these are the flaws. These are the research questions which has not been addressed by the researcher prior to him. And so introduction is not a literature review, but researcher should show in journal way how the proposed study is different from what is already known. I mean, the researcher has reviewed the literature, he come across number of articles, he give a detailed reading to number of articles, and after the readings, he realized that what is the specific area which has not been addressed by the researchers in their research papers, and on the basis of the flaws, the gaps, now the researcher tried to address the research problems which has not been addressed by the researchers before him, right? So the introduction is not a review of literature, it is actually addressing the research questions, it is actually addressing the research problem, the issues which the researcher will address in his research project or in his dissertation or maybe in his PhD thesis. Now, if no study had been made in the area, okay fine, now this is also very important. What if the study has not been made in the area which he chose for his study? Then it should be specified why in the researcher's view there is a need for the study. So what does it mean? It means that if study has not been done in the particular area which the researcher choose to pursue his research, now he has to mention this in the research. He has to be mentioned in the research. As I said in one example, that for example the researcher, he want to pursue his research to know that whether the rights of the refugees are protected in India, because India is giving asylum to the number of different communities from the different countries. We have the Tibetan refugees, we have the Sri Lankan refugees, we have the Tamil refugees, some refugees from Somalia. So there are the very huge population of refugees here in India. But do India has any separate legislation on refugees? Now researcher want to address this thing that till now the research has not been done while addressing this particular issue here in India. So if any work has not been done before, researcher need to be give that into the introduction of the research proposal, that why there is a need for the study. So if study have been made earlier in the same area, yes, it should be explained how the proposed study is designed to be different from the others, because whatever is already studied, the researcher will not continue that again, because that is already done. And hence the proposed study is designed to be different from the others he has to be mentioned that. He has to be mentioned that. So, for example, if there is a study which has been already conducted on that, yes, the refugees' rights, the refugees' human rights are protected here. Now, researcher plan to pursue a research which is empirical in nature to understand that the Tibetan refugees who took asylum in India in the year of 1959, it's long back, more than 60 years, he actually want to know that how so long these people, they are continuing living in this country, whether the government is supporting them, whether their human rights are protected here, or how they are managing their lives, their livelihood. So, this is the curiosity of the researcher. If some work has already been done on this topic, definitely researcher has to be see that what is the particular area which has not been addressed by the work which has been previously done, and then he has to be mentioned in the introduction why there is a need to address the specific area which he want to pursue in his research. Now, moving on, hypothesis or researchable question. Now, this is very, very important for research. Researchable questions, hypothesis. We all know hypothesis, yes, this is a tentative assumption made in order to test its logical or empirical consequences. This is tentative assumption. This is assumption. Now, this is very important because right now I am on hypothesis. Hypothesis, I said this is a tentative assumption. This is the idea of the researcher. He has a tentative idea, or he has framed a tentative statement. Continuing with this example, he framed this tentative statement that the human rights of refugees are protected in India, or human rights of refugees are protected under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. Now, this is the statement. He has to be testified. Is it correct or not? And that's why I said that researcher assume with the literature he has reviewed. He assumed that okay, fine, the article, the readings which he read, he realized that the rights of the refugees are protected here in India, in spite of India is not signatory to the International Convention on the Status of Refugees of 1951. Now, moving ahead, this hypothesis, see, it is made of two words, hypo and thesis. Hypo means less than, or you can say less certain. Why it is less certain? Because we said that this is a kind of assumption. This is a kind of assumption. And then a thesis. So, hypo is less than, it means less than, or maybe less certain, because this is assumption, no, this is assumption, it is not actually. So, it has to be proved later by the researcher that whether it is correct or not. So, hypo means less than, and this or less certain than a thesis. So, we can say hypothesis is a presumptive statement of a proposition or a reasonable guess which is based upon the available evidences. These reasonable evidences researcher seeks to prove through his study. So, what hypothesis imply? Hypothesis implies that true position is not known to the researcher. He is not known to the true position, and he is or is of doubtful nature. So, the position will only known when researcher make a study of that particular situation or when he conduct the research. So, we can say hypothesis is a tentative explanation of the research problem. Okay. So, where we discuss research problem, we said that topic is finalized. Then we said there come the introduction. What is there in introduction? Introduction, the researcher talk about the research problem, or researcher has to be mentioned what are the research question. On the basis of that research question, these research question will be definitely help the researcher to frame the hypothesis. Frame the hypothesis. So, tentative explanation of the research problem is called hypothesis. Sometimes we said that it is a possible outcome. Why it is possible outcome? Because the researcher has to be proved it. It is not proved yet. That is, we are taking that there is a possibility that the statement can become true. It may be approve or it may be disapproved, right? So then there is a one definition given by the Lundberg. He said hypothesis is a tentative generalization, the validity of which remains to be tested. Now this is what I said, or I already mentioned this, that validity of this statement remain to be tested, and when it will gone to be tested, when the researcher come with some conclusions, when the researcher come with some data, with the help of the interpretation of data, this statement can be proved or disapproved. So in its most elementary stage, it is imaginative idea, it is guess, which become the basis for the action, or you can say it become the basis for the investigation. So where a hypothesis has been disapproved, one should not be get disappointed, because hypothesis may be disapproved by the result, but it does not in any way affect the importance and value of the research, because even the negative result can also be important and valuable to the contribution of the knowledge, so that later we can come with some positive result. As I already said that this legal research design is for the doctrinal research. So whether framing of hypothesis is important for the doctrinal research, or researcher can continue his doctrinal research with the help of research questions. Now this we will see now. Hypothesis is important part of research, but it may not be required in all type of research. Now, for example, historical research, descriptive research, these type of research, historical, descriptive, they don't need hypothesis, they don't require hypothesis. See, history is a history, you cannot change the history, and the statement is not required there. There may be a research question which the researcher will get the answer of this question after he review the literature and then he write his research paper. So in historical research or maybe in a descriptive research, the hypothesis is not required, and therefore it is not so that the hypothesis is framed for all the researches. In some non-doctrinal, in some doctrinal research, the hypothesis is not required. So whenever possible, hypothesis is recommended for all major studies to explain, observe facts, conditions, behavior, and to serve as a guide in the research process. But it is not required in every research. Now, therefore, we can say that doctrinal research which does not involve a field study, it is not necessary to have a hypothesis. So I am sure now this is clear that for doctrinal research, hypothesis is not required, because the doctrinal research, there is no assumption. There might be the research question which the researcher want to discuss in his research. For example, researcher want to discuss that why the small children, they are used as a drug peddler, right? So he might be interacted with those children, and then with the interaction with them, he might be come to some conclusion. So when he go through the literature, he might framed a statement that the children between the age of 10 to 15 years, they are used as the drug peddlers because they are not aware of the activities they are doing. Now this is the non-doctrinal statement, and now the hypothesis, this is the hypothesis which is required here for such kind of research, right? But when he tried to understand that why, what kind of a law is there to stop such kind of activities, then the research is a purely doctrinal in nature. Now see, are hypotheses necessary in legal research? As I already said that in doctrinal research study, researchers have not ordinarily to test any hypothesis in order to prove or disapprove it. And because he has not to prove or disapprove it, because the research is, doctrinal research is either exploration, either description, either explanation. So if the research is exploring something, describing, explaining something, analyzing something, the drawing of inferences and conclusion and making suggestion which are necessary for the improvement, for the change, for the reform, and to understand the develop new concepts or theoretical propositions. So, in doctrinal research, researcher have not ordinary to test the hypothesis, and that is why in doctrinal research the hypothesis is not important or necessary. What are the sources of the hypothesis? It is very simple. The sources of hypothesis are literature review. Then the sources of hypothesis are discussion with the experts that give that discussion with the experts in the given field to understand the problem, I mean how the problem originates, and then also get the solution of the problem. So, these are the possible ways or sources to frame a hypothesis. Sometimes the intuition of the researcher also work on this. Sometimes the previous empirical study which has been done in the given area, they also help in the formation of the research, or also help in the formation of a hypothesis. Then the literature review. Literature review is the survey of documentation of what? Published, unpublished work in the area of specific interest. So, literature review is a critical evaluation, analysis of the existing literature, books, articles, journal, etc. on a particular topic. So, in short, we can say that it is gathering the existing literature in the area of research that will help the researcher to understand the topic. It helps the researcher to understand to identify the gap in the previous research and what are the flaws in the existing law. On the basis of that, yes, he can frame his research questions, his research problem, and he can polish his research topic more with the help of reviewing the literature. So, review of literature is a very important part or a component of the legal study. Now, what we can, how the review of literature has been conducted by the researcher with the help of case law analysis, with the help of statutory analysis, with the help of comparative analysis, thematical analysis. All these are very, very important to review the literature. In this way, the researcher can come with a very precise research problems, and it is only possible if he has followed the way how the literature should be reviewed. Now, moving ahead, what is the objectives of the study? Now, this is the another component of the legal research. What are the objective of study? So, this is very simple. We know that the objective of the legal research is either to discover the new facts, to test and verify the old facts, and to test and verify the old facts, to analyze the facts in new theoretical framework, sometime to examine the consequences of new facts or new principles, sometime to develop a new legal research tools, sometime to propound a new legal concept, sometime to analyze the law, sometime to analyze the legal institution from the point of view of the history. So, the objective of the study actually give a researcher, the reader, the idea that this research study has been conducted with what kind of objectives. Now, methodology section in a research design is very, very important. Now, this is very important. What is a research design? See, we already understand that the proposal or design provide sufficient information about how the study is planned to be carried out, and it is rarely possible or desirable to describe all the detailed feature of a design. Researcher has to be provide the features of a research design, and then there are the following matters which is there on your screen which need to be explained. What is the type of study or approach? Yes, most legal study follows the exploratory, descriptive, explanatory, historical, analytical, sometimes critical or comparative approach, or a combination of some or all. So, the researcher is expected to specify the type of approach or a study to be adopted by him. Then the nature of information needed. Yes, the material which is used in doctrinal research are largely library based literature. It consists what are often described as a primary and secondary sources. See, now give your attention on the sources. These are the secondary and primary sources. So, in doctrinal research, this research is majorly based on library and the data which or the data which he get, the information which he get either from the primary or the secondary sources. Then what is the scope of the study, or we can say that what are the delimitations of the study. So, when a study is conducted, obviously it should be conducted within a particular context and it should be limited in its scope. So, the limitation of a study is very important, because study should not be of a very general nature, but it should be confined to a particular time period, it should be confined to the particular geographical area, it should be confined to the particular the article or the particular issue which has to be addressed by the researcher. The example we discussed a few minutes back, the article 21, it start with the no person, and see how the researcher he confined his study only on the no person. He said, okay fine, this no person include the refugees, the non-refugees, the foreigners, the non-citizens of this country. So, I want to see whether the article 21, the right to life and personal liberty of the non-citizens of the refugees is also protected in India or not. See how he confined his study. So, study should not be very general, it should be very specific, and hence the delimitation of the study is very important, because delimitation, they are the boundaries. Yes, researcher has to be keep his research into the boundaries, because the once the researcher put the boundaries, yes, then he know that what should be included in the research, what should be excluded in the research. So, this will help, delimitation actually help to narrow down the topic of the research. And then significance and contribution, yes, researcher has to be show the what is the significance of the studies and how this study will further contribute. So, research proposal should indicate why the research area is selected. Now, this is very important. It should specify why the topic is so important, what is the relevance of pursuing the research in this topic, because study can be conducted from different perspective. Now, because study can be conducted from different perspective, and that is why mentioning, telling what is the significance of this study is very important. So, proposal should indicate how study will be contribute to the existing knowledge. The proposal should indicate that how the study will be useful for the institution, for the academic community or the society. So, what is desirable is that law research should ordinarily be critical analysis of the subject matter of the research. So, although the descriptive research is indeed a very useful as it provide material for further research, but it may not be in many cases as a real contribution, and that is why the significance and contribution of the research will also become a part of the component of a research design. Then what are the content, what are the chapters? So, a legal research proposal submitted for evaluation, for approval, for a higher degree, or maybe to get a financial support and help, and that is why the contents chapter should be arranged in a logical sequence. Each chapter should be explained, though briefly, specific matter it is designed to be deal with, and that is why the contents and a tentative chapterization is very important. Table, bibliography, if any, is also very important for researcher to mention in his research proposal. So, we can conclude that the selection of an appropriate research topic, research design, this is very important part of a legal research study. So, researcher must give due weight to the various points, and hence all these points make a very good research proposal which will actually help the researcher to continue his research. Thank you.